You felt it the moment she didn't reply immediately. That tiny pause in the conversation, the subtle hesitation in her texts, the slight chill when your thumb hovered over your phone. You've been here before. Your heart beats faster, a tension rising in your chest, and suddenly every other sound in the room fades. That is the first secret. Most men never notice it. They think texting is just words on a screen, but it's more. It's the pulse of attention, the unspoken tension that dictates desire. The first secret is timing and subtle mirroring. You don't flood her with messages. You don't chase. You reflect. You mirror her tone, her energy, her rhythm. When she sends a short, curious message, you respond with slight restraint, a rhythm that suggests confidence, patience, subtle control. She feels it without realizing. She senses someone who values himself, someone who doesn't give attention too easily. And she leans in. Imagine holding your phone, reading her words. The screen glows softly on your face. Your thumb hovers. You pause. You feel your heartbeat in your throat. You send a message that matches hers, just slightly, almost imperceptibly. And you wait. That pause is not silence. It's a magnetic pull. She notices, subconsciously, that you're not desperate, that you're worth noticing. That subtle balance is irresistible. Most men break it. They flood, they panic, they over-explain. She feels the tension, the imbalance, and her interest fades. But if you master this rhythm, this dance of timing and mirroring, you step into a silent power she cannot resist. She reads your energy, your patience, your confidence, and she leans forward. Remember, you are not just texting. You are communicating a presence, a boundary, an invisible gravity. Every pause, every word, every micro-reaction matters. This is why men fail, and women get lost in the moment. They ignore this unspoken power. And in the end, it's not just about getting a reply. It's about establishing that magnetic tension, that subtle pull where she can't stop thinking about your next message, your next move, your presence. She feels it, and it's intoxicating. You stayed. You saw. You know. By now, you've felt the tension build, that little spark of curiosity she sends, those carefully chosen words that test your reaction. They are more than text. This is the second secret, the subtle emotional anchor. Most men respond with logic, with jokes, with, "How are you?" But she isn't reading words. She's reading emotion, energy, intent. She senses the man who can evoke feelings without trying, the one who plants a thought she cannot ignore. Picture it. Her last message pops up, brief, teasing, ambiguous. Your chest tightens for just a fraction of a second. You resist the urge to overanalyze, to reply immediately. Instead, you feel it. You sense the rhythm of her energy. You respond with a measured tone, a carefully crafted word or two, leaving just enough to keep her mind spinning. The pause, the restraint, it's deliberate, magnetic. Notice how subtle it is. The micro shifts in tone, the pauses between your words. She can't name it, but she notices it. You've anchored her emotions without a word, without pressure. She's drawn in because you've created space for her curiosity, a psychological pull she doesn't realize she's following. Most men never master this. They flood, they overcompensate, they kill the allure before it begins. Your presence, even faceless, communicates more than texts ever could. The emotion you convey, the rhythm you establish, the restraint you practice, it's invisible but undeniable. She feels it in the tiny gaps, the spaces between your words, the weight of what isn't said. And with every message, every careful pause, you deepen the pull. She begins to chase without realizing it. Imagine the tension in your own body as you type, the awareness in your chest, your breath, the slight anticipation of her next message. This is the power most men never learn. Holding space for desire, for curiosity, for subtle attraction. You aren't just texting. You are shaping the emotional landscape, guiding her attention, steering her interest with invisible hands. And when done correctly, she notices. She leans in. She reflects on the exchange long after the conversation ends. She's caught in the rhythm you created, unable to ignore the pull. You stayed. You saw. You know. By now, you've felt the rhythm, the pull, the tension building in the unseen spaces of your conversation. The third secret is the most powerful. The art of subtle emotional challenge. Most men play safe. They agree, they comply, they reassure. She senses it. She feels boredom creeping. But the man who understands this secret creates a delicate tension. He challenges her just enough to spark intrigue, never to provoke or offend. Imagine it. She texts something teasing, testing your reaction. You pause, sensing the underlying emotion. Instead of immediate validation, you respond with a gentle, layered tease. A word, a line, a reflection of her own energy. It's measured, it's subtle, it's irresistible. She notices the confidence, the emotional intelligence, the presence that doesn't bend to every whim. She leans forward without knowing why. This secret isn't manipulation, it's alignment. You are not bending for her attention. You are anchoring your presence while allowing her curiosity and desire to grow naturally. Every carefully measured response, every brief pause, every mirrored energy reinforces the tension. The subtle challenge invites her to invest emotionally, to lean in, to seek your attention without realizing she is doing so. Feel it in your own body, the awareness, the heartbeat, the anticipation, the subtle thrill of control without force. This is the invisible power most men never understand, and yet it is what she cannot resist. The pull is magnetic, the tension is intoxicating, and when she reflects on your conversations later, she feels the weight of your presence, even without words, even faceless. Remember, texting is more than messages. It is a dance of attention, emotion, and unspoken power. Master timing, emotional anchoring, and subtle challenge, and you hold the unspoken gravity that draws her closer with each interaction. She notices, even when she tries not to. She remembers, even when she tells herself it was nothing. This is why most men fail. They chase, they flood, they over-explain. You stayed, you watched, you understood. You are different. You command the invisible pull that few ever grasp. And now you hold the last truth. Subtlety is irresistible. Restraint is magnetic. Presence is power. She feels it. She leans in. And you are the one she cannot ignore. You stayed. You saw. You know.